Okay, so this is a quick description of how to create your own entity relationship diagram. So at the end of that lecture, this last lecture here, I said your task is to build your own entity relationship diagram in your database for the restaurant. So you need VISIO. So we open up VISIO, I'll create a new VISIO, and you need to use crow's foot database notation. Then down the side here, we have entity, primary key, attribute relationship. So I'm going to make this very simple. I'm just going to have a customer table, an order table, and maybe menu items. Perhaps you could put in the comments below whether you think you could come up with a better solution. But let's just make this simple. Very easy, simple tool to use. I'll grab that entity tool. I'm going to call this customer. Then I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to call this entity, double click in here. I'm going to call it order. And then I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to call it menu items. Now we need to set our primary keys, PK. That's what primary key stands for. So I'll zoom in again on that. PK, customer ID, order ID, and then menu items. Well, we're probably going to have a item ID. Menus are going to have menu items are going to have names, burger, whatever, type of food, so either food or drink, perhaps. We can also describe what these entities actually are. So if I right click on that and I go to data shape, show attribute types, I can change the attribute type by going to let's leave that out for now. Don't worry too much about that. So let's just focus on creating the prime keys, foreign keys, order. So you're going to have what things might you have in the order? Items, probably an array of items, isn't it? Menu items. And we're going to connect order ID to customer. So we're going to make a foreign key customer ID. And I'm going to, if I right click on customer ID, I could set that as a foreign key. And then I'm going to draw a connection between, by grabbing this relationship tool, between customer ID and order, like this. And I'm going to drag that onto that field there so you can see how they're connected. And I'm going to look in and I'm going to look at that connection. So remember, we have these types of relationships. One, many, one and only one, zero, one, one or many, zero or many. So I'm going to check this and see whether I agree with that. So our customer, I think this should be the other way around, should have one or many orders. So if I change the begin symbol to maybe one and only one, and I change the end symbol to one or more. So one and only one customer, because remember, customer ID is going to be unique. I think that would be the right relationship. One and only one customer can have one or many orders. Menu items. Well, we're going to need a foreign key in here. So we've got item ID, we've got a name of it. Our foreign key is going to link up to order ID. Order ID, like this. And I'll right click on that and I'll set that as a foreign key. And I'm going to draw the relationship, grab the relationship between them. And I'm going to set that on, I'm going to drag that all the way down there onto foreign key like that. And I'm going to connect it to order ID like that. Now I think that's correct relationship. One and only one menu item, because it can only ever be one menu item with a certain ID, is connected to many orders. Is that right? So I think it'd be the other way around. So again, we go to here, set end symbol to one or more. So set begin symbol to one or more. Begin symbol to one and only one, sorry. And set end symbol to one or more. So an order can consist of one or many menu items. It has to be at least one. So that's a very simple entity relationship diagram. If I zoom out on that, you can see everything. We've chosen the right we've got three tables: customer, order, or maybe we have some attributes. So we need a name attribute, and maybe we'll take some contact details like email. So then we've got customer, order, and menu items, our three tables. The primary key on customer is customer ID, and that connects to the order table through that as a foreign key. And one customer, and only one customer with that ID, can have one or many orders. And one order can have one or many menu items. And menu items consists of order ID, which is its unique primary key, the foreign key, customer ID, because it connects from that to that, and then menu items is connected to order by using the order items primary key as its foreign key, and then a menu consists of just names. So obviously entity relationship diagrams, databases can be vastly more complex than that. But as an example here, we're just going to make it very simple. You see this one, which was to do with the supply and delivery and order details and things, you know, is much more complicated. And often when you're designing databases, I've found anyway, when I've worked on projects, you start off with what you think is the right schema and then it evolves. But it's a good idea, especially if you're using relational databases, to think about the relationships between those tables, so you don't end up having repeated data in each of the cells, as I talked about here when we were discussing students and courses. If you had courses in a student table, you'd repeat all the data about courses. So it's a very important thing to think about, but I believe it's something that evolves over time as you develop it. Okay.